When we look at our Sanchin Kata, we kind of want to approach it in a manner that it's going to actually be somewhat realistic in a sense, because the way you practice in the dojo is the way you're going to do it in the real world. So the thing is when we do a Sanchin strike and we just kind of go through the motion, that's all well and good, but it's only because we're just trying to technically be correct. But in a reality situation, you wouldn't be doing your strikes like that. They would be a little bit more intentful, where you're actually trying to use it to actually defend yourself or to counterattack, so to say. So it's important to practice that way. So when we're looking at our kata technically, yeah, we can slow it down and make sure that everything is in its proper place and the motion is correct. But at the same time, we got to kind of look at the realistic side of it. Is, will this work in a real life situation? Because in the dojo, we're all safer, aren't we? Yeah, we're in a sense of, yeah, we come here. Safety is the #1 priority when it comes to the dojo, and we want everybody to go home uninjured. But in a real situation, is that the case? No. So the intent is different then. So when we think of our Sanchin strike in an intentful manner, we want to make sure that we really emphasize that motion coming out. So that is where all that, and I know I've talked about this before, technique is probably 10% of your kata, 90% of it's all your emphasis and intention. So when we think about that, we want to kind of portray that, especially in a black belt type testing situation. We don't want to just kind of go through the motion. We want to really emphasize that motion of really striking somebody, okay? So that's going to be the theme today. What I want you to do is put a little pizzazz into your kata, a little oomph or a little bam, what I call it, bam, like it's like you're kind of shooting that gun, so to say, and you're trying to really make intentful contact into your target. So with that in mind, let's do another Sanchin and kind of think of that overall concept of being intentful with your movements, all right? And that's got to be generated through your energy and your spirit. The technical part's there. You guys know how to do Sanchin. I mean, there's no doubt about that. Now what I want you to do is I want you to bring it to that next level. Now you got to remember, in a real life situation, a lot of the movements that we do are going to be abbreviated. We're not going to be able to do this motion here. If anything, it'd be like more of that, because you're fighting. That's what you'd be doing. You're not going to be kind of doing this, setting up, and then doing a Sanchin strike. So basically what I'm trying to do is get you out of the dojo atmosphere and more into the realistic atmosphere, where the intent is going to make the difference. All right. So now what I want you to do is, I don't want you to do it as fast, but like I said, I want you to do it in intentful. I don't want to see technical movements. I want to see intentful movements. All right. That's what's going to make the difference. So when we do the Waioki, it's here. It's all one motion. All right. I shouldn't be seeing this. That's technical. Intentful is. So everything's like kind of just going, and the momentum's going, and then you're ending with the strike. When we're doing our Sanchin, yeah, we can maintain a perfect structure, but that perfect structure is only to get us to that next level, and that next level is to really emphasize the movements that we're doing. Okay. Now it doesn't seem as prevalent in Sanchin because Sanchin is really basic, but when we start getting into our other katas, you can probably maybe pick up the pace, or things look more like, oh yeah, this is more of a self-defense type movement, like when we do in Seisan or any of the other advanced katas. In a situation, you got to go from 0 to 60 in any given situation. You can't kind of warm up, stretch out, okay, wait a minute, I'm going to stretch out a little bit before we fight. It doesn't work that way. Sometimes you don't even realize you're in a fight until you're like maybe 1 or 2 hits into it. You get punched, you're like, oh, what the heck? Oh, dang, I'm in a fight, after the second, third punch, Not in most cases. If you're aware enough what's going on, you hopefully can sense something's going to happen. But you got to be ready. You got to be ready to turn that light switch on and go from 0 to 60 within an instant, because you don't have time to plan it out. You just got to react to what it is. So that's important. And that's what katas kind of help us do. They kind of give us that tools, or the tools that we need, depending on the attack. The attack's going to be different. We don't know what the attack's going to be. But we have moves that will hopefully we can insert. And in the dojo, you know, if somebody's going like this to you, I'm pretty sure you guys have some idea what you got to do, because we do it all the time in the dojo. So that's what we're trying to do for you. But the thing is that the intent is, if it's not there, it's going to be really tough to control a situation. So you got to have that intent, especially if somebody's coming at you and they're trying to hurt you. You got to be ready to go. And practicing the katas that way, and being, you know, intentful with what you do. I know the word of the day is intent, right? So ideally what we're trying to do is get you to think about your kata in a different realm, opposed to just going through the technical part of it. You know, we're trying to pretend that somebody's attacking us. And that's kind of like what we do. That's what your sensei's probably told you since day one. Well, pretend somebody's throwing a punch at you and then you do the block and the counterattack. But the thing is that you got to be doing it intentful. So the way I look at a circle block, so if somebody's coming at me like from this direction, I'd come around like this. Now, would I look at that as a block? I could be striking somebody. They're coming at me. I'm just going to go, oh, just strike them right here. And I don't even think of it as a block. I just think of my movement, period. What am I doing with the movement? Well, I'm just trying to stop this guy from hurting me. So if I can get my technique off before he gets his technique off, that's going to give me the edge. So when I turn, I'm just not turning and going like this. My whole body's being engaged with that in that motion. Okay, and that's kind of like where I want you guys to start thinking about this is being intentful with your movements, because that's going to really make you stand up and above everyone else is just technically going through the movements. And we can demonstrate that. It's almost like acting. You got to kind of role play a little bit. Yeah, so the thing is that if you're in a fight, do you get to start over? No. You just got to deal with what it is. So, and believe me, I forget some movements, or I'll blend movements or katas together, and it happens. But it's okay. It doesn't matter, because the thing is that the movement is the movement. No matter what the movement I do, and it has some application, and that's really what you care about. So if you do an extra movement, or you do one less movement in a kata, it's no big deal. You can't get that kata back, but the next one you'll probably hopefully remember to not do it, or do it. Just in case you don't understand what I'm trying to drive today, is that intent movement in your kata. And put effort into what you're doing. You know, spiritually and emotionally, put your best foot forward when you're doing this motion. Because we can all do the movements technically, but we don't want to look robotic. We want it to be a natural type flow. We don't want it to be restricted, you know, where everything's got to be 1, 2, 3, 1, you know? So don't feel like that's what your karate is all about. But that's how we develop good technical movement. But like I said, in reality, it's not going to be like that. So hopefully, as class has been going on, you've been feeling a little different about your kata. That's ideally what I want you to do. I want you to get out of your box of what you're normally used to. I want you to, like I said, put some oomph behind, or bam, or whatever you want to call it, behind what you're doing. I'm seeing some good techniques. I'm seeing like that would stop somebody. That's what I want to see. I want to just see stuff that's actually going to be applicable. That's why we do it. We just don't do the kata just to do the kata. We do it for a purpose. There's some means to the end of why we do it, you know. So it's kind of like as we move through our journey, hopefully we understand a little bit more, and we study it a little bit more, and look at the reason why we do it. Please don't forget to like and subscribe to LiveDanD.